Well, welcome to Holy Week on the Wesley Show. We're focusing on this early part of this final week of Jesus. It's Monday, and Margery, can you tell us what was Jesus doing on Monday evening? Well, we have a gospel reading from John, in which Jesus goes to the house of Lazarus and Mary and Martha. You remember Lazarus, he was the man who had died, and Jesus raised him from the dead, and Mary and Martha were his two sisters. Well, Jesus goes to this dinner party, and Mary does something very strange. She goes and she gets a jar of very expensive perfume. We hear from the Bible, it was made of pure nard, which we don't hear much about these days, but it was the most expensive ingredient you could put in the best perfume. She gets this bottle and she pours it over Jesus' feet, and then she wipes his feet with her hair. Wow, that is kind of strange. I mean, it's very personal, you know? I mean, for a human to do that, you know, to another human. I mean, I know that, you know, when somebody like scratches me behind the ears or what, I mean, even that kind of contact is personal, and just imagining that this woman did that for Jesus, it must mean a lot about, you know, how she felt about him in her heart, you know? What was the reaction? You know, it's interesting that you ask that, because actually the disciples they thought it was very strange. They thought she was behaving in a bad way. And in fact, one of the disciples, Judas Iscariot specifically, he says this. He says, Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples, said, "Why was this ointment's another word for perfume, not sold and given to the poor?" Because he knew that if they had sold it, it would have gotten a lot of money, and he was sort of pretending that that would have been a better thing to do, and that what Mary did was wasteful and wrong. Well, I can see his point. I mean, it does seem wasteful. Well, but what's interesting is Jesus then says that what she did was a beautiful thing, that it was a good thing, that her showing her love, getting the most expensive thing that she had and pouring it on his feet, that deed would be remembered forever because of the beauty of it. And he also says, "Leave her alone, so that she may keep it for the day of my burial." And I think when he says that, he's recognizing that Mary understands how precious time with Jesus is, that she values it above everything, and that's something that we actually need to do also. We need to value time with Jesus as very precious. Well, I mean, you know, Mary had Jesus right there, you know, physically, right in front of her at her table. But, you know, I don't have Jesus physically right here. You know, I mean, I can't like go over and wag my tail and, you know, like curl up at his feet, although I do love Jesus and I would like to do that. But how do we show our love for Jesus when he isn't actually like physically here? That is a great question. And actually, it requires a little bit of imagination. We have ways in church that we do that, and private ways that people do that. One of the ways in church that you can do it, this week, actually on Thursday night, there's a tradition that you can sign up to pray as if you're with Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. In each hour, you can sign up for whichever hour works for you. I know that with my family, we sometimes chose an hour that you would never usually be awake. We would sign up for 4 o'clock in the morning and all get up and pray together as if we were with Jesus in the garden, and just sing hymns, say, "We love you, Jesus." So that's one way. Another way is singing a hymn. You can sing a tender hymn of how you love Jesus. And that's sometimes how I start my mornings. And I'm actually going to share with you, even though it's a little hard singing all by myself, but I'm just going to share with you a sweet hymn that I sometimes sing to Jesus. It goes like this. I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, O my soul. Take joy, my King, in what you hear. May it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. Oh, I like that one, Margery. Sometime you can teach me the words. But I want to encourage all of you to look on the schedule for Holy Week, and just reminding you that on Good Friday we will have a children's service, a children's liturgy, and I especially invite you to join us for that. It'll be at 3 p.m.